Well, hello there. How are you today, Lila?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. And everyone joining us, welcome to the SDR Power Up, brand new
Ooh,
show with Lila and me. And Lila, why?
yes.
Where where the heck did this come from? Why are we doing this?
Why are we doing this? Well, first of all, hi everyone. Happy Hump Day. I am so happy to be here and thank you for joining. Why are we doing this? Because I love to have amazing chats with like-minded people. And I love to pick people's brains and just have good conversations and like explore different topics. So SDR enablement. Yes, yay. SDR enablement is so powerful to me, and I just got a new position in this space, so I'm like full force wanting to learn, grow, and help SDRs. And I'm dedicating my time to doing this and learning from the space. So what better way to weekly have a space to do that? And I'm just so excited to be here and do this with you. So
Thank
that's
you
why we're
so
here.
much. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's something that's not talked about enough. But
totally.
I feel like we got to start on something fun.
Yes, let's do something
And
fun.
being 420, I feel like we both have a shared story that we might as well go and start it off with.
I
What do
think
you
so.
think?
I think so. Do you want me to go first or do you want to go first?
Sure.
Me?
Shoot.
Okay. So, who do you think of on 420 other than Mr. Snoop Dogg? And if y'all don't know me, I say y'all because I'm living in Austin, Texas, but I'm from San Diego. I'm from California, where Snoop Dogg is. Hey, Ryan. And I have had two encounters with Snoop Dogg. Nicholas's is better. I'll just let you know that right now. But I saw Snoop Dogg. He was DJing at a local casino in San Diego, so I went and saw him there, and he was like absolutely incredible. And then last weekend in Austin, him and a whole bunch of other rappers from California came out and it did like a big show out here. And man, the whole crowd, it was just like filled with smoke. And this is a professional channel or platform, but you know what the smoke is, you know what we're talking about. And yeah, that was just an incredible experience. So I was telling him about my Snoop Dogg experience, and he was like, "Oh, I met that guy," and I was like, "Wait." So Nick, go ahead and share share your story.
Yeah, during the summers, if anybody knows Calgary, Alberta, we have the Calgary Stampede. Well, Calgary Stampede and Cowboys tent usually brings big names, and I was working there, and just so happened I got asked to work the green room, which I did most years. So I actually got to go and hang out and smoke with Snoop Dogg, and I basically spent the whole day with him because he started out in the Cowboys tent, and then he came into the casino and he DJ'd. It was
So
fun.
cool. Yeah. That's legendary. Yeah, he is. I mean, he just did the Super Bowl, so it's very relevant. Everyone knows him. And he killed it, by the way. He literally killed it. And yeah, he's just an icon, you know? So shout out to Snoop Dogg. He's probably very high at the moment. He's probably, I don't know what he's doing right now, but that'd be kind of cool to know. But we are here and we are talking to everyone else or talking to all of you. And we are so happy to be here. And I don't know, Nick, maybe we can do kind of a
Did
background on
Snoop
both of us.
work?
Or
Did
I
Snoop
know
work
I'm
the
seeing the
Cowboys
chats. I
game?
don't like want to see it. I'm like, if you also have a Snoop Dogg story, go ahead and put it in the chat. Let's hear it. Um,
Come on, guys, I
oh,
believe in you. Everybody's
this
got a Snoop story.
Everyone has a Snoop story. But yeah, I think to kick us off, I definitely want this to be valuable. We're spending 30 minutes here together. Maybe this is your lunch. Maybe this is 1 p.m. for me. I have yet to eat lunch, so I'm like, this is me. This is pre-lunch Lila. A little on edge, but I'm like ready to go. So wherever you are, we're happy to have you here. And yeah, Nick, do you want to maybe share a little bit about you first, and then I'll kind of share my background?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. And it was funny. Me and Morgan were talking about this of like when we talk to companies, like why me? Why did I get into this? Well, I used to wear my burnout as a badge of honor, and then it gave me an all-inclusive stay in the hospital for 30 days. Where 3 of those days I didn't know if I was going to live or die. It's not a story I tell very often, but I love sales. But I really thought about the way I sell and if it was the right way. Because if I had to work that hard to earn a decent living, not a great living, a decent living, I was doing something wrong.
Hmm.
And so I started to really question what I could do. And what me and Morgan learned over the last little bit is social media is a great way to open doors. And so
Mhm.
the joke all throughout my career is I was the person that could get meetings that I had no business getting.
Mm, okay.
And so that's what me and Morgan do is we work with social selling to go and help companies look beyond just cold calling and emailing to add a different channel and, you know, do stuff like this and make relationships in the process.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and it's
yourself.
it's such a beautiful thing. Yeah, no, thanks for sharing that. That was nice. That's a big cup of whatever that is.
It's tea.
Um, it's tea, nice. I wish I had mine. I just have water, but um, yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think social selling first is amazing, so thank you for doing that, and that channel is beautiful. And I would love to chat more about that. But yeah, a little bit of background on me. I'm from San Diego, and that's my home. And I don't know, I feel like growing up, I always had a very business mindset. I'm very competitive. I'm a sports girl. I play basketball, soccer, all the sports, but I'm watching basketball right now, obviously the playoffs. But I'm just like, I'm geared to want to compete. And I knew that sales was for me because I'm a people person and I want to help people. So mix that all together and you get this beautiful salesperson that's just very passionate. Um, and yeah, I obviously out of college, I graduated with my marketing degree and I studied sales too at Chico State, which is awesome. Shout out to Chico. And yeah, I stumbled across, I knew I wanted to get in tech and SaaS because that's like the biggest impact you can make. And I was ready for it. So I got an SDR role and it changed my whole life. Like I always say, I don't know who I was before I started in tech sales, like an SDR at a good company. Like I spent over a year there at Telium, and I don't know who I was before because I just learned so much in the span of like a little over a year. And my brain just like expanded. It's almost like Play Doh. Like it felt like that.
Hmm.
And it's funny now I'm like onboarding SDRs and it's like we expect them to like learn so much in so little time. And like we're judged on that. Like our metrics is like how fast can you get them to ramp? But yeah, it's just I the SDR role I fell in love with because they are so impressionable in their careers. Like they're coming right out of college, just like me. Like I was just there, and we don't have a lot of. I mean, we do have support. Actually, okay, I think we probably have like some of the biggest support on social, like LinkedIn. Like everybody, you feel like you're in a community for sure. You're posting on LinkedIn, like people have your back. But also you are siloed, especially if you're working from home remote, like you're on an island just prospecting all day on your own and you have a manager, but you need a lot. Like you need a lot of help and support and not a lot of people get that, especially if they're not
Hmm.
like on LinkedIn and in the community. So, you know, I've always been super passionate about the combination of sales and marketing. I feel like I'm a salesperson with a marketing brain. So I took that experience from being an SDR. I was an AE for around 9 months. And then I felt in my soul that I needed to start enabling folks and training. And I was like, okay, I love SDRs. I want to enable them like right now. um, so I saw this opportunity at Demand Base and I like snagged it. And it's been the best thing. And it's just like hit my soul. It just has felt so good. And yeah, I'm happy to talk through like what we do and what SDR enablement is because I know it is a very new concept, but I've taken my experience from sales and marketing and then just kind of put it together. And yeah, I think enablement is really important because you need to coach and like I said, SDRs are probably the biggest people to coach. Like I think they're the most primed to coach, don't you think? Like they're in that position
Oh, everything's
to
brand
get them.
new.
Yeah.
I have one question for you before we keep going, though, and this is a
Yeah.
serious one. Like I promise, I'll do my best not to judge you, but NBA or March Madness?
Whoa, my mind was not there. Um, um, I might
Hmm.
get scrutinized for this. Um, I mean, I my favorite person of all time in the whole world is Steph Curry, so I have to say the NBA playoffs. Because that's just it, like that's the highest playing. And it's like, you know, Yeah, he doesn't ask serious questions, which is good. I like that. But yeah, March Madness is incredible because the players are young. They're at the peak of their not peak of their career, but like their peak of their like college career. You know, like these are players are insanely talented and athletic, and yeah, like maybe they don't have the maturity of an NBA player. You know, and maybe it's the game is more team oriented, right? But NBA is like one on one. Like who's Kevin Durant going to shoot over next? And like Steph Curry, his threes. So it's like it's more entertaining. Or actually, they're both entertaining. But NBA playoffs, it's like wow, like these players, and they're going at it too. Like this is where they lace up, put on their shoes and lace them up and like really go ham. Like they all season they're kind of just making sure they make the playoffs. Um, but then when they get the playoffs, it's like insane. So you shouldn't have asked me this question because I could talk about this forever.
So I have a question that goes with it. What is the difference between high school ball and March Madness? Like, how would you compare the difference? And I promise listeners, I'm going somewhere with this.
I played high school basketball, and it is very competitive. I just think you're very immature in your career. Like you're still developing. I mean, I played very high level in call or I'm sorry, in high school.
Mhm.
So I mean, it was very high level play, but just March Madness and like college is on a different scale. Like you're traveling. It's a business. They're not making money, which is another topic. But um, yeah, I think you're playing against harder people, that's for sure. Like you have to play at a higher level. You're also playing with better people. Like all these recruits from the top high schools are all playing together. Imagine that, so yeah, it's different. Like you're still maturing in high school and maybe getting taller, growing, getting bigger. But yeah, I think your senior year is probably going to be similar, like play wise, maybe as your first couple years, and then you just keep getting better and better and better. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question.
So now think about your guys' sales org. What level are you playing at? How many coaches do you have? What level of specialization are you bringing to the game? Are you guys just doing dry land and going getting your conditioning in? Are you doing technical drills? How often are you doing this? Do you treat it like it's whenever we have time, or is it important? When you play anything at the highest level, whether it's a profession, as selling is, or it's a profession like playing sports, the level of discipline you put into it is the level you get back. And so the problem that I see with a lot of SDR orgs is they run it like high school ball. They
Mm,
have one coach that will kind of go and deal with them, but it's kind of that. They only step in when it's time to penalize them because they're not hitting activity metrics. And there's a lot of tough spots because you got to either take the initiative to learn yourself or you don't. And then you look at some people like I'm not sure how to pronounce Sarah's last name from Gong Brazier.
Brazier. Brazier.
Brazier. Look
Yeah.
at what she's done. Look at what like Curry and all these people. What happens when they really break it is they have a social presence. They're in the public eye. It's not just that they're good, is they break through and they make themselves seen. So think about your guys' orgs. Think about how that plays out. And then in the chat, what do you think SDR enablement is? Bonus points for sports metaphors.
Yes. And maybe also like what do you think SDRs need too? Like what are they lacking? Because yeah, I think managers like they have a lot on their plate. There's a lot. It's a big job. Um, but who's coming up with like new ways for SDRs to reach out to people? Who's strategizing with them, and like who's really coaching them and doing one-on-ones, not just like, hey, have you hit your number metrics? It's more of just like none of that. It's just like, how are you doing? How can we get you feeling better about yourself? And let's start practicing and prospecting and stuff. So yeah, it's like you have to really be there for them as a coach, and take off your manager hat. So it's tough, and they're like, they have a lot of things to do. So I think there could be another person surprise, enablement person, SDR enablement person to then step in and help in that way. So yeah, it's becoming a more common theme for companies to have this because SDR orgs are like orgs in general. Like it's not just sales and marketing. Like I mean, you can debate all day if sales should be in marketing or in under sales, but I think it should be sales development org. Like it's its own thing. It's a combination of the both. So you need to have like a very built out play for them, and yeah, they feel taken care of. They feel because another thing is too, like SGRs are not going to open up to their managers completely. Like that's the person who is judging them and is their manager. And some relationships they have that with, but like an SDR enablement person is doesn't wear that hat, and they're like kind of in a different feeling. They're kind of like your cool aunt or something. Like don't they're not going to like press you. They're going to help you. Like they're only there to encourage you and be supportive. They're not going to like call you out for things. So I think just having that third party helping you throughout your journey is going to be huge. And I think having a SDR org that's really built out is really important. So I definitely encourage that.
When I think of enablement, what I think about is process, content, and tools. And a lot of
Mm.
the people that I've interviewed in enablement, just to get an understanding of how they're being judged, that's a lot of what they do. What about insight?
Hmm.
We teach a lot about product, but we don't teach about the product in customers' hands. We teach about the product and why we love it, and that's why we always call it shop talk.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a place where SDR enablement and enablement in general needs to put more emphasis on customer insight, win loss analysis, customer interviews, maybe even partnering up with CS to really understand like who CS wants to work with again and who they should stay away from?
Yeah, the whole like strategy side to sales dev, like someone's got to do it. It's not just like I said, managing them. Someone needs to look at the insights, look at the analytics, create more content. Is your sequences working? You know, also ask your SDRs, like, are you asking them what's working, what's not? So then you can continue to like adjust and add and tweak. Um, an SDR enablement person also onboards them, trains them, and coaches them one on one throughout. So it's like managers don't have to do all the onboarding anymore. They could just manage them and manage everything and the territories, and there's a lot that they have to do. Um, so it leaves all like the strategy, onboarding, and just like continual understanding of what they need and what they don't need. Like that's the biggest thing. Like it's kind of like you just need someone to be like, oh yeah, I'm here for anything, like help. And there's like we just at Demandbase, they just had like an SDR org run like an enablement thing, and they just had like an open forum of like what we need. They gave me a laundry list of things to do, and who's gonna do that? If you didn't have an enablement person, like a manager doesn't want to do that. Like they're just gonna deflect it off of everyone, like the SDR director, the VP, like they're just gonna deflect it to everyone. And then an SDR has to eventually come up with stuff on their own, and they start creating content. And that's what I had to do as an SDR. Like I was very much like the plug of enablement, and like I created so many docs and um, just like insight for all of them. Be like, hey, this works. This LinkedIn message works. Like this email works. This angle works. This reaching out to close loss. Like this campaign Salesforce report works. Like there's so much other than just processes. I think what you said, processes, tools, and what was your last one?
Processes, tools, and content. And then
And
I said I
content.
would throw in insights. And Morgan had kind of, I saw in the chat, having that feedback loop.
Okay. What do you think he means by that?
Well, a lot of the time, I won't go too deep into this. They talk about learning. There's good environments and there's evil environments. And they say that an emergency room is an evil environment to learn because you never get to see the results of your actions.
Hmm.
So we got to be careful with SDRs because if you're always handing off, how do you know if it was qualified? Unless that AE tells you. How
Hmm.
do you know that the deal closed and it was great or it was good if you don't talk to CS? And I think this is a huge place for enablement to really step up and really do great work and get recognized for this great work is bringing that feedback loop front and center and saying, hey guys, look at what we did as a team. Look at what we learned. And now every piece of every prospect, every channel, everything is learning. You're not just everybody randomly shooting in all different directions. You're getting
Mhm.
better as a team, like running sports drills when you played ball.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's a good place to pivot around educating in our last 10 minutes. What is sales development, or like what's the difference between sales enablement and then SDR enablement specifically? And I know a lot of companies have sales enablement,
Hmm.
but it's not the same.
No.
It is not the same. And as much as I love sales enablement, I think it's beautiful. I think there should be specific enablement people for every single org, because sales enablement is kind of like for every department. I know there's looking at like the revenue teams, customer success, um, solutions consultants, like AEs, SDRs, like everything, everyone in that space. But they end up being kind of like the one stop shop for everyone, and they just like people just throw things at them to work on, and they don't have any time to actually sit with SDRs or sit with specific AEs or whatever to chat through what's working. What can I create for you? What enablement sessions can I walk through to like really help the team grow? Um, they usually have weekly, like blanketed, hey, this is how we're pitching, and this is how we're understanding our company and our marketing and our messaging, which is really valuable and important because everyone's on the same page. Like that is very valuable. But I feel like it could kind of stand alone sometimes. So you need people who are in the mix, who are on the revenue team, which or AE team, which is like helping AE specifically, because goodness knows that they have their own problems and processes to go through, like, and then you need someone in SDR too to help them, and then customer success as well. Like there should be each an enablement person to really step in and be that person. So yeah, I don't know if I explained that really well around like the difference, but do you have anything to add between kind of what sales enablement means compared to SDR enablement?
I don't even know if it's necessarily what it means, but it's what I see. And when I talk to enablement managers, when I've been doing my interviews, one of the things I hear a lot is that enablement's really focused on mid to late funnel. And so
Mm,
how do we go and accelerate pipeline? How do we close those deals? How do we make those deals bigger? It's like cool, but how do you open them properly? How do you
mhm,
open them better? How do you target better? And it's just never on their radar. So when I think of SDR enablement, it's like we're going to get smarter opening deals in order to accelerate deals through pipeline because that's already covered. But this is that missing link that I think is really going to help SDRs shine and give people stop people giving them so much slack about automation and bad messaging because they're going to have people to support them so they don't do that anymore.
mhm. Yeah, I agree. Um, yeah, I think it's a full team sport, and I think SDRs. I mean, this is helping. Like even talking about this is really helping. Utilizing people in your space and just like your community. Like community means a lot in SDRs, and I guess for the folks that don't have this enablement in place, like they're not just going to be like, hey, can you invest in enablement person? It's like you can't just change it like this. Leadership has to see this and like see levels to invest in it. But if you're an SDR out there that doesn't have that support or feels that, um, I mean, utilize channels like this, like weekly things like this, where we're tackling these challenges to really. I mean, you know, we're gonna get granular into like how we can help y'all. So that's definitely on the agenda for what we want to talk about. I basically my goal is to do whatever I can to produce or create content to enable anybody. Like obviously SDRs at demand base, that's where I get paid, but I want my content to go outside of that and be able to help and encourage other people as well. So that's my main goal. Um, I guess, Nick, what's your main goal out of this? I'll pause.
It's 2022. It is a lot of salespeople suffer in silence because they're too scared to be honest with their managers and with their leadership, and so they choose to suck it up and own it. It's
Mm,
2022. If if you need help, ask. Reach out to Lila. Reach out to me. Reach out to Morgan Smith. Reach out. get in the comments, shoot them a connection request, get in the DMs, get the help you need. It's a team sport.
Mhm.
And if you're struggling, you don't have to do it alone. That's my
Mhm.
biggest goal is I think people just need to know that you don't need to burn out. You don't need to get depressed because you think that you're conquering the world by yourself. There are people there that are going through the same journey that want to help you. So
Mhm.
if you do anything, please reach out today.
Mhm. Yeah, totally. I think burnout is a real thing. Like you can really this role is a kind of a burnout role. Like if you don't manage your time and like I mean, I don't think it has to be. Like obviously it's high quantity and every day is like pressure and you're like, okay, I got to do all these activities. So in that sense it can be, but like what can you control? It's like you can control your processes and flows every day and making sure that you're optimizing it. You can control taking a break. You can control how your managers treat you and like or not how they treat you, but like your relationships, at your company. Like you can try to build up relationships that are positive in your life, and speak if something isn't going well, try to make it better. Yeah, there's ways that you can make your situation better and yeah, I think you're not alone because I don't know if you could see in the comments, the chats, like there's tons of people who are also suffering like feeling the weight and pressure of like every month, because it starts over from zero. How do I make my number? How do I hit, how do I make myself proud and my company proud and my managers and my teammates? Like, how do I do this? It's a constant pressure and you can manage it if you keep your mindset right. And I'm happy to go into mindset stuff, but that might be another chat. But yeah, I think you have lots of support.
Got a question for you, just
Yes.
because these are fun.
Yeah.
And people in the chat, please, I'd love to get your opinion on this too. Is an SDR department in sales or marketing? Who should they be reporting to?
Hmm. I don't know. You tell me. No. Um, I selfishly wanna be, like, sales because I'm a salesperson and, like, if I was an SDR, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm in sales. What are you talking about? I'm not in marketing." But then if I actually think about it, like, SDRs are little marketers. They really are. Like,
Yeah,
are they
demand generators.
yeah, are you selling to prospects or are you just, um, reaching out to catch their attention to then provide value to then get time. Like we're just getting time with them. Like you're not really selling. Like my first AE told me on our first call together, I was just listening to it back. Um, and he was basically saying like this is where SDRs mess up because they'll spend 10, 15 minutes on a spiral of just trying to sell the product and then the prospect never wants to actually get a disco or whatever, meet with the AE because
Mm-hmm.
they're just like, I'm good. You gave me everything, but and we're not experts in it yet, like we just know high value stuff, sales and marketing mix of stuff, marketing jargon, and also sales content to then pitch to them to then grab their attention. Because if they start asking us deep questions, we're like, ooh, like I don't know. I'm not really sure about the sales process yet. I'm not an AE because the AE function is way different. Trust me. Um, I'm not a solutions consultant. Like that is going to be for the next step. So all you have to do is really get time with that, like get time in their calendar, catch their attention enough to get time in your calendar. So you kind of are like like you're kind of in the marketing space. And I think the more and more people use social selling and LinkedIn and creating content, um, they're definitely seeing more as that. Like you don't even have to pick up a phone call. Like I mean, I got some meetings off phone call, but like I really didn't. Like I mostly got it off of LinkedIn and email. So are you really a salesperson if you never have to actually sell to them over the phone? What if you're just typing it out? So that's another kind of debate.
Is marketing judged on activity metrics?
Yeah.
As
Like a,
long as SDRs are judged on activity metrics, they're in sales. If they start to get judged on pipeline or something that matters, then we're talking about a more modern approach to sales dev,
mhm.
which is a blend of sales and marketing.
Yeah,
enjoy
it
it.
is. It's a blend, like, I see both sides, you know? I'm not here to say I'm right or wrong, I'm just here to say my thoughts, my opinions, you know, and everyone's, has the right to say theirs, but, yeah, I think I know we're coming up on time here. How does this work? Do we exit? Do we run? What? No.
What if you had to go and summarize today? If you wanted people to just take away one thing, what is that one thing?
That SDRs matter and are super important to every organization, and they have support. Yeah, I guess that would be it.
How do we enable SDRs to crush quota? Make sure they understand customers better than anyone else.
Mm,
Stop teaching tactics, start teaching the why.
mhm,
When they understand why people are on the list, why them, and they really understand the insights of why now, the job isn't as hard. The job is really hard when you don't know who you should be calling and what you should be saying. So if we
mhm.
can get masters of our customers and really understand why they buy and what motivates them to do that, then it's not nearly as stressful. That would be my biggest piece of advice.
It's a good one. I like that. Yeah. I think this is good. This is really good. This felt good, in my heart, and I would love to do more of this, and, yeah, would love to hear if people liked this and think it's valuable and maybe some topics that they would want to learn around and want to us to talk a little bit more around, or if they want clarification, reach out to us, and, yeah, well, I guess we'll see you next week then, and bring your friends.
Yeah, tag them in. And thank you so
Cool.
much, everyone. Thank you
Yes.
for being here. Thank you for joining us and investing your time. If we can help you, if you know any topics, get in the comments. If you know anybody that this would really help, please tag them. And we can't wait to see you next week. Same time, same place.
Woo! Excited. Bye,
Take care,
guys.
everyone.